Today's topic is a semi-recent add-on from Caledonia Works, and in this case, she's also a locomotive that I've been meaning to look at for over a year at this point. This is the London, Midland and Scottish Railway Fowler 4F, an 060 tender engine dating back to 1924. Originally, I was going to review the 4F right around the time of its release, but decided to push it back because I was on a tight budget at the time. The 4F was CW's second release of 2025, following the LNER P1 class 2H2. The Fowler designed 060 was released on the 4th of February 2025, and she is available from CW's website for £20. Incidentally, you don't just get the LMS 4F class of 1924, but also the Midland Railway 3835 class of 1911. The 4Fs were essentially just slightly modified versions of the 3835. It wasn't until recording the side-by-side shot when I noticed that these engines each have a different safety valve design. The TS community had been in dire need of a new 4F model for quite a long time. The original RSC era model was released way back in June 2010, and although this thing has since had some enhancements from Steam Sound Supreme, the model itself hasn't gotten any shorter in the tooth, as it were. As for the digital traction model, whose release year I have forgotten, I preferred this over the RSC model, but it too has since been blasted out of the water by the new CW model. Both the 3835 and 4F were designed by Henry Fowler, with 192 examples of the 3835 class built for the Midland Railway between 1911 and 1922, followed by a staggering 575 examples of the 4F class built between 1924 and 1941 under the LMS. Curiously, an additional quintet of 3835s was built for the Somerset and Dorset Joint Railway in 1922, but these were taken into LMS stock in 1930 and numbered from 4557 to 4561. Incidentally, one of the LMS-built locomotives was numbered as 4260, so, for reasons that hopefully won't be too difficult to work out, she's one of my favourite members of the class, on par with 4430. One of the few differences between the two classes was the presence of right-hand drive on the 3835s and left-hand drive on the 4Fs. Both classes were designed for freight work, and came equipped with the notorious Midland axle boxes, which were prone to overheating. For some reason, lots of engines had that type of axle box, even the massive LMS Garretts. In spite of the axle box issue, and are sometimes having to double-head trains as a result of the Midland's infamous small engine policy, Fowler's 060s were reasonably successful and long-lasting locomotives. All of them survived World War II to become part of the British Railways fleet in 1948, but the first one to be withdrawn was Midland-built 43862 in 1954. By 1966, only 11 of the LMS-built engines were left, and these were all gone before the start of 1967. Only one of the Midland 3835s has survived into preservation, and I was lucky to see the real thing in the exhibition shed at Oxenhope on the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway. In addition to 3924, a trio of LMS-built 4Fs have also been preserved, with the locomotives in question being 4027, 4123 and 4422. The 3835 and 4F pack is similarly comprehensive to other CW packs, such as the LSWR N15, LMS Patriot, LNER A4 and GWR Saint, in the sense that you get a sizable amount of livery/model variation for your money. The 3835/4F livery selection is as follows: Midland Railway black, Somerset and Dorset Prussian blue, S&D black, LMS pre-1927 black, LMS post-1927 black, British Railways transitional black with Gill Sans lettering on the tender, and BR unlined black with either the early emblem or late crest. Although none of the 3835s built for the S&D actually wore Prussian blue in real life, I don't mind the livery's inclusion in this pack because it just looks, for want of a better word, swish. I should also mention that the livery selection is largely the same across both the 3835 and 4F classes, albeit with no Midland and S&D liveries for the 4F. To add, from the Golden Age Developments website, you can download additional weathered variants for the 3835 and 4F. It's worth noting that the in-game 3835 and 4F have right and left-hand drive respectively, just like their real-life counterparts, and the CW pack also has two different tender types, one designed by Richard Dealey and the other, more familiar type, designed by Henry Fowler. There's even a decent selection of freight rolling stock from the Midland and S&D included with the 4F pack, so you're essentially getting a combined locomotive and rolling stock pack this time. For whatever reason, the Midland 6-wheel milk van has got a shark inside of it. Come to think of it, imagine trying to transport a basking shark or a megalodon by train. CW's depiction of Fowler's 060s make use of SimNation's Locomotion 2.0 scripting, so the list of features is quite extensive. The list includes, but is not limited to, authentic sounds recorded by Vulcan Productions, Performance Mode Pro, toggled on or off by pressing Shift P, animated reverser rod, which I always like to see, animated valve gear inside the frames, as a result of the locomotive having inside cylinders, customizable/period accurate Midland or LMS lamps, dynamic smoke particles, realistic steam chest simulation, a working water scoop under the tender, which is lowered with T and raised with Shift T, fire intensity synchronized with the exhaust beat, the builder's plate automatically changing to match the locomotive's running number, which is a neat little touch if you ask me, and a little trickle of steam appearing from the ejector when it's open. There's also some customization options controlled via the locomotive's number in the scenario editor. For example, on the 4F and LMS post-1927 black, you can change the chimney to be lipped or not, add or remove the long travel valves, whatever that means, decide whether or not the smokebox door hinges are burnished, and change the shed code. As another example, here's the 3835 in BR black with the late crest. This one has largely the same customization options as the 4F at which we just looked, albeit with the addition of a yellow cab stripe and removal of the ability to burnish the smokebox door hinges. Following electrification of the West Coast Main Line in the early 1960s, steam locomotives that wore the cab stripe were not allowed to run south of Crewe. I found the 4F neither too easy nor too difficult to drive, even in advanced mode, although, as expected, her performance was affected by steep grades, particularly on the Somerset-Dorset Joint Railway, as well as different seasons and weather conditions. But, to be fair, that's normal where steamers and TS are concerned. Now that's something I've noticed with CW engines over the years, particularly the post-LSWR N15 packs. They may be reasonably advanced, but not as overwhelmingly so as other locomotives in TS, particularly where the New Zealand Railway's JA and KB classes are concerned. The 3835 and 4F are ideal for pottering up and down a branch line or hauling short to medium length passenger or freight trains on the main line, albeit without being as powerful or as fast as the LNER A4 Pacific, or even the LSWR H16 tank engine. To get Fowler's 060s steaming well, you should keep the fire mass between 900 and 910 pounds, as marked on the F5 heads-up display, while the water level should be kept at between 70 and 90%. During a test run for this video, I got a 4F up to a top speed of 48.5 miles per hour with load 3 on level track. The route was Great Western Levels 1902 by Golden Age Developments. Before moving on to the conclusion, I should add that there are a few coach packs required for the 3835 and 4F's quick drive consists. Said packs are Armstrong Powerhouse's Mark I Coach Pack Volume 1, along with all 4 sets of Matrix Trains' Midland clerestory coaches. Overall, I'm impressed with Caledonia Works' depiction of the LMS Fowler 4F, although there is one thing that I would suggest for improvement, that being the little glitch where the firebox glow is visible on the running board at certain angles. Ordinarily, I would say that £20 is a bit steep for a TS Classic add-on, but in the case of CW's Fowler 060 pack, I would argue that it still presents good value for money due to the amount of model variations included, not to mention all the rolling stock that you get with the pack. Speaking of which, if you're just starting out in TS, and are a fan of British Steam, then the 4F add-on could be right up your alley, without referencing that album from Joan Jett and the Black Hearts, since you don't need to buy any other locomotive or rolling stock add-ons if you just want to jump in and run the 4F with a train in tow. Alternatively, if you'd prefer to start off with passenger trains, I would recommend CW's LMS Princess Royal Pacific, as she includes a large selection of coaches. Thinking back to the Midland 3835/LMS 4F pack, I think I'll give this lot a 7.7 out of 10, and if you've stuck around to the end of the video, you win tickets to see a British comedian place money on whether or not his friend will cut out the inside of an apple. It's Ronnie Corbett and his Corvette,